Hey, good morning. Afternoon, everyone. It's me, Llamas. Don't mind me. I'm just here grabbing my cup of coffee. I've been up burning the midnight oil, as they say, doing very important work. I'm, of course, talking about resource grinding in Valheim. Very important stuff. You ever fall into a game so hard that seems like the very fabric of time itself unweaves, and all of a sudden you've spent days sitting in front of your computer before you even know it? Yeah, well, that's been my experience with Valheim over the past couple of days, and I'm here to try and convince you to do the same thing. So, what exactly is Valheim? In short, it is yet another entry into the open world survival crafting genre that is currently in early access. It dropped on Steam February 2nd, 2021. Now, look, I know. Do we really need another early access open world survival crafting game? I had a few reservations myself, however, after viewing the trailers and several glowing reviews on Steam that testified to the quality of this title, I decided that $20 was a reasonable barrier to entry. And oh man, am I glad I decided to take the plunge. When you fire up the game, you're greeted with the main page where you can adjust your settings or start the game. It takes you to a very basic but serviceable character creator. I didn't mind the lack of deep customization as, one, the graphic style of this game is simple and clean, so a swath of customization options really wouldn't be fully taken advantage of, in my opinion. And two, I'm not the type of person who dedicates hours to customizing my characters in video games. Most of the time, I just want to get into the action. Once you're done here, it's time to jump into the game. A wall of text scrolls past explaining the setting of the game. In short, you're a dead Viking who must go through several trials set before you by Odin to be allowed into Valhalla. It's simple enough to understand and gives you context to the long overarching goal of the game. Next, you cut to your character being flown into the land of Valheim by a Valkyrie. I think this lasts a tad long, but it's not a huge deal because after you're dropped off, you have a few dialogue blurbs to read from your new crow buddy Hugin. But then, that's it. You're off on your own to explore and figure out the world. In the first couple of hours, you're going to be speaking to the crow a lot as you discover new items, tools, and materials. He's here to give you a rough guide on ways you can progress. I found it was far from intrusive and not hand-holding in the slightest. Now, on to the meat and potatoes, the gameplay. Valheim got just about everything right in my opinion. Skills level as you use them, though admittedly during the higher levels I stopped noticing any improvement that might be associated with the leveling. However, you do lose these each time you die and have to regain your experience over time. This is the most punishing aspect of dying, in my opinion, except for maybe the time you might have to spend recovering your lost loot. Fret not though, if you die while attempting to get your gear from your first grave marker, your items from the first instance of death do not disappear. This does take away some of the sting of death and again makes a skill loss the most punishing part. The resource collecting in this game is satisfying and the variety of materials to collect is just enough to be refreshing but not overwhelming with too many choices. You can collect wood, which will be used for building your first shelters, fueling fires, crafting coal and tools. There's also metal ore to collect, which will be smelted into metal bars for further crafting into tools, weapons, or furniture. With it being a survival crafting game, of course, this means there is food to collect and prepare to nourish your character. What I like about Valheim's system is that you do not have to eat simply to survive. But if you don't, well, your health and stamina pools are severely limited. Now, there are 3 different types of food that you can eat at once. So once you've eaten 3 solid foods, this will really boost your health and stamina. This is necessary to fight enemies later in the game, and it also helps you speed up the rate that you can collect materials with your increased stamina bar. The types of food can range from berries in the wild, which actually can also be made into potion bases, There's vegetables you can farm and grow, like carrots, and of course there's meat. You can hunt boar, deer. There's these little water creatures called necks. You collect their tails and you can eat them. And you can go fishing for some fish. I know that last one sealed the deal for someone out there. Oh, I know. Trust me. I love fishing in games. You're not alone. Beyond the crafting of buildings, you can also adjust the terrain to your liking as well to ensure you have a level area to build your settlement on, or carve out a wall from the surrounding terrain to stop the creatures of the forest from attacking. Speaking of, there's a good variety of enemies to fight in this game, each dropping their own types of resources to collect and utilize. Some are more prolific than others, looking at you, Grey Dwarves, and sometimes swarms of enemies will attack your base, so make sure you have defensive measures in place to stop your home from being destroyed. Touching on combat, there are a few options here for you. You can go the route of being an archer, wield two-handed weapons such as hammers and war axes, or go the shield route with a one-handed weapon. There's nothing too deep to get into in terms of combat. The main thing to watch out for is your stamina. You'll use stamina each time you attack, so you'll need to be managing it effectively. You can block enemy attacks with each weapon to varying effectiveness, with the shield offering the most block potential, of course. You can even parry with each weapon to varying degrees, which will provide you a window to counterattack for a critical hit. Each weapon type has different damage types, which will affect enemies more or less so. That said, you can change up your kit based on the different areas you're exploring to have the most effective weapon. Also, it's probably best to not build the house too close in proximity to a boss spawner. My friends and I tried that for the Elder, and yeah, it didn't turn out so well. To be fair, I did bug out during the boss fight a little bit, which, yes, there are some bugs and performance issues. This is an early access game after all. But I can wholeheartedly say that this game has way fewer bugs and issues than many full release titles that are on the market right now. So far, in my 40 plus hours of playing, this boss fight was the only time I had a bug significantly impact my gameplay, so I'm not complaining. Look, I'll get to the point. If you're a fan of survival crafting games, you're probably going to love Valheim. I get that the aesthetic may not be for everyone, but personally, I'm a fan. The simple look is easy to understand, easy on the eyes, and actually provides beautiful vistas from time to time. This game will be even better if you have some friends to play with. I've had an absolute blast sailing the seas, chopping wood, delving into dungeons, and fighting monsters with my buddies. It's simply a great game to get lost in and hang out. There's no pressure to do anything, you make your own adventure and at your own pace. I hope I've helped at least one person out there make a decision about this game, whether you chose to play it or not. This is my first attempt at making an overview video about a game, so please let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and comment anything I may have missed about the game that you think others should know. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed, and if you want to chat with me while I play Valheim or any other game for that matter, you can head over to my Twitch page and follow me there as well. I'll have the link in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and have a good one.